I'm standing on a very popular shoreline somewhere in Lagos, Nigeria. Not so many know that just a few years ago, this whole area was devastated due to the coastal erosion that was eating up the shoreline. So it had to take a visioneer and a lot of money to reclaim this area and, of course, turn this whole area into a tourist destination.
My name is Paul Onwuanibe.
He's a serial entrepreneur, an angel investor, born and raised in the UK, but he's made in Africa.
I didn't think I'd be in Africa
Yeah.
for a start. I thought I was going to be in Europe.
Fast forward to 2023, over 20,000 people visit the Landmark Beach Resort, all because of a vision just one man had.
So I traveled the world, and I knew at that time that I wanted to do something that had big impact. You know, I took a helicopter ride in 2008 and looked around Lagos for a piece of land to buy. I looked at the bustling business district of Victoria Island, looked at the growing sort of residential corridor of Lekki, and I thought to myself from the air, I looked at this area and I thought, what is this? There's an area completely undeveloped. There was nothing here. The roads were not here. None of these buildings were here. We landed the helicopter and I negotiated with the royal family at the time, and we reached a landing to buy this land, right? We've sunk over $150 million in here, right? For a start, right? And that includes the land value. I would say that we're probably looking at something north of $250 million in enterprise value. This is the only family-centric entertainment beach in Lagos, full stop.
I mean,
right?
yeah.
And it's an entertainment center. We get about 20,000 people within this ecosystem every single week.
20,000 people.
It's a mixed-use beach. We employ over 2,500 people here directly. Nigeria has some of the most entrepreneurial people in the world, some of the most hardworking and sincere, some of the happiest people. So, you know, it's a joy to be here.
Yeah.
I've traveled to 69 different countries, and I wouldn't swap this place for anywhere else.
Today's video is going to share the story of how he built the ecosystem called Landmark Africa. So stay tuned, subscribe to the channel. Let's go.
Well, for those that know about Landmark, so we're effectively a business, leisure and lifestyle platform. We cut across several industries here. We do everything from leisure to entertainment to commercial offices to retail, food and beverage. So we're a real mix of things.
Yeah.
There are 84 different businesses within Landmark.
84?
Yes. We employ over 2,500 people here directly and 16,000 indirectly. We're a 24-hour business because everything from the restaurants to the hotels to the offices to the leisure.
Yeah.
We even have a university here. We have health facilities.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of people here and a lot of businesses here and a lot of lives that are changed here.
That really makes the point when you say it's a work, live, play environment.
absolutely.
Like
It's
everything all the way from nightclubs to restaurants to name it. Did you ever envision, I mean, probably in your 20s, that you'd ever build an establishment like this sometime in the future?
In all honesty, not really, not in my early 20s, right? But by the time I got to my, you know, I got married in my mid-20s, you know, I had a family to feed, a mortgage to pay, you know, I had the real hassles of life. I was going through my career, and I was working in a fairly highly senior management position by my late 20s. And at that point, I'd worked with an entrepreneur, a guy called Mark Dixon, you know, I'd opened offices around the world, so I'd traveled the world. And I knew at that time that I wanted to do something that had big impact, but it was always going to be in the property environment because that's all I had done all my life. I didn't think I'd be in Africa for a start. I thought I was going to be in Europe.
You're a business person. It's Africa, or Nigeria specifically, is a very difficult ground to make a business. There are challenges here, there are challenges in the UK, but there are more challenges in Nigeria. Different type of challenge. So why did you choose to come back?
No, I mean, it was amazing. So I was running this business in Europe, and we're in 7 European countries at the time. A good friend of mine came to the UK, and you know, he said to me, you know what, this thing I'm doing in Europe, I can do it in Africa. And I thought to myself, you know what, I'll take a trip. So he invited me over to Nigeria. I hadn't been to Nigeria since I left school, right? So I came to Nigeria, I think it was 2002. And I looked around Nigeria, met a lot of people, and I thought, you know what, Nigeria is becoming right. And I said, well, I'll travel to a couple of other African countries and have a look. So I went to Kenya, I went to South Africa, I went to Egypt. Came back and I thought, yeah, we'll do this business in Africa. But I didn't want a Nigerian business, I wanted an African business. So in 2004, we opened almost simultaneously an office in Lagos for West Africa, in Nairobi for East Africa, in Johannesburg for South Africa. And we rolled the dice and we created this thing called the Landmark offices. You know, over the next 6 years, we opened offices in 14 different cities in Africa. So around 2010, I realized that it was impossible to run an Africa business and run a European business at the same time. So I went ahead and sold the European businesses to my partners there. The thing about Africa is that you look at Africa, people think of it as one country or one continent. You know, there's so many different countries, but each of these countries have different languages, different cultures, different political structures, different currencies. And different sort of trade dynamics. So it's a very difficult, it's almost like running businesses in different continents. So it was a lot of hard work. I knew I couldn't do that whole European thing and African thing at the same time, and Africa was hard enough, and I wanted this business to be in Africa for Africans. So I had to train Africans to do it. Now the property industry in Africa hadn't been developed, but what was happening in Africa was really real. And this was around 2011, 2012. You could see that African countries were becoming more commercial. There was better leadership in most instances. The people were becoming a lot more demanding in terms of services and products and goods. So we felt and the international community was paying attention to Africa. So our first set of clients were the big ones: Microsoft, Dell, Intels, Googles. And we used that and spread around Africa. In 2016, we decided that the African property market hadn't developed strong enough, and Nigeria hadn't developed strong enough from the property perspective. You know, the laws surrounding property, the regulatory environment, the facilities management surrounding property, the Land Use Act. And we thought, for us to really run this serviced office business, we needed to participate in the ownership and the platform of property. So we went around and bought different sites, and this is one of them. Right?
How many years ago did you buy this?
2009.
How much would you say the land has appreciated in the years leading till now? By how many percent?
It's a good question. It's a tough question as well. You know, we paid $14 million in 2009 for this piece of land.
$14 million in 2009, and this is 2023. On the top of your head, how much? I know you're not planning to sell, but how much do you think this land right now at Landmark is worth? The whole beachfront, all the way to the Boulevard.
Well, because it's no longer land, it's now a business, right? We put infrastructure in it. You know, look, we've sunk over $150 million in here, right? For a start, right? And that includes the land value. I would say that we're probably looking at something north of $250 million in enterprise value. But in terms of just land cost, I don't know. You know, maybe it's $100 million, maybe less. I don't know. Land is only worth what you can put on it. It's not really, definitely. Land in itself doesn't mean anything.
When you initially bought this, what was it like? Because I know the whole story. I made a couple of videos in the Atlantic. I know the whole coastal, you know, erosion and all the problems that was eating up the shoreline. But was that the same situation with the Landmark when it was like?
So no, you look, we came long before. No, there was nothing here. You know, I took a helicopter ride in 2008 and looked around Lagos for a piece of land to buy. I looked at the bustling business district of Victoria Island, looked at the growing sort of residential corridor of Lekki, and I thought to myself from the air, I looked at this area and I thought, what is this? There's an area completely undeveloped. There was nothing here. The roads were not here. None of these buildings were here. So we landed the helicopter and I negotiated with the royal family at the time, and we reached a landing to buy this land, right? And we had to put in all the infrastructure, the street lights, the water, the boreholes, the security, everything. There was nothing here, absolutely nothing. The closest building to us was ExxonMobil 1004, right? And the Hotel on that side. And then on this side, it was the Lekki corridor. Eco Atlantic didn't exist. It was a dream. It hadn't even been thought of by then. So we were very early comers to the area. And if I recall, the land on the other side of the road was more expensive than the land on the water side because of what the issues that you're speaking about.
Coastal erosion.
So we started with our event center and put our event center down. Then after some time, Eco Atlantic came and the filling started taking place. The coastal erosion was quite severe then. You know, we spent almost $2.5 million shoring up our coastline. To ensure, it was.
I mean, for you to put that amount of money, it means you really saw the long-term vision.
Yeah, so you know, the thing about real estate, when you jump into the water, you're jumping with 2 feet, right? You can't look back, you can't go in half measures.
You can't test the waters.
No, you can't test the waters. You know, if you believe in something, then you've got to really pursue it like you have no choice. You know what the Brits used to do when they used to go around the world conquering places? They say burn the boat, right? So they arrive in this remote island, they burn the boat, so there's no way out.
Burn your boat, you're not
survive.
going anywhere. So you must survive.
We did that.
So that was the situation you were in. You burnt the helicopter.
We burned the helicopter. We said there was no way out. We had to make this work, right? And you know, look, this is a country that has challenges, and I don't take that lightly.
Hello, my name is Tamara. I'm from Croatia, and we heard that this is the best beach here It's our first time actually to be on this beach, and we really like it, so we wanted to come and to check it out, and we really like it for now.
My name is Lina. I'm from Bulgaria. I'm coming here because my husband is working here. We decided to try this beach because we've heard that this is the most amazing beach here. It's nearby our hotel, so yeah, we decided to choose it, and it's amazing, really. There are a lot of things to do, like you can choose from everything. You have fun party bars, you can jet ski. You can go on the area to make tent, to make good photos. It's fun. You can do anything.
Yeah.
I think it's more secure than other beaches in Lagos, right? The access is pretty straight to the point, right? There are no agberos harassing you for money and stuff. So yeah, I'd say the security, the activities, and yeah, I mean, it's cleaner than other beaches, basically. That's it.
A few years ago, there were three things that were happening in the world. One was that the borders between work and play were graying out, right? The second thing was that we had a lot of infrastructure challenges within cities like Lagos and countries like Nigeria. And the third was that growing population, or what I like to call the demographic dividend, right? So a lot of young people who are on social media, who watch TV, and they have aspirations far beyond the borders of this country. And I thought to myself, how do I create all this? How do I create a solution to these three things in one, right? A destination for young people, right, to live the life that they could live anywhere in the world here on our home soil. Two is, how do we deal with all the infrastructure challenges in the environment? And then three is, how do we put live, working and playing in one place?
Yeah.
So those were the three things that literally started this thing. Now, you know, Nigeria is a place where you have to provide your own electricity, you have to build your own roads, you have to provide your own water.
Sometimes you have to clear your own air.
You have to clear your own air to breathe, right? so we thought, you know what, we'll do everything in here. So as you see this place, as I said, a lot of, 30% of the money we've spent here, you can't see it. Yeah, it's the sewage, it's the water, it's the electricity, it's all that infrastructure underneath the ground. Then you have to create a business environment, a platform for people to come. So we look at ourselves almost like our own sort of mini government, where we provide, the security, the water, the electricity, all the infrastructure. We provide the rules and the platform for businesses to operate. And the businesses come and they operate here quite successfully.
So many people like me out there, like when they hear Landmark, the first thing that comes to their mind is the beach and the beach resort. So it was very interesting to see that there's a strong real estate present right here at Landmark. And I don't know if it was you that posted on Twitter, Landmark secured a 24 million funding from Shelter Free to partly finance the construction of the mixed-use development here. So kind of tell us about the mixed-use development and basically what it offers.
Well, first of all, I have to say, we're used to raising funds. So we've raised over $100 million here over the last, I would say, 20 years. And this fund does two things, right? There's some foreign debt that we have to repay, so there's part of it that's refinancing, and then part of it is being used to anchor the water view. Most of it's going into the bricks and mortar of the water view.
Yeah.
So we raised $20 million from Vantage. We've raised several amounts of naira, 3, 4, 5 billion naira at different times. We've paid all those back, but this is just another round, and there's a lot more to come. And what this mixed-use development is, we call it the Landmark Water View. It's a 30-floor tower, and will include several apartments ranging from studios, 1 beds, 2 beds, all the way to 4 and 5 beds. This water view is the catalyst or the stickiness of Landmark, because overnight we'll have probably 300 odd units, maybe 900 to 1,000 people staying the night here, and being able to participate in all the activities we have, the business, leisure and lifestyle.
That's a very interesting number.
Yeah, so I always say it's not, people call it a residential development, but it's not. Anybody buying into it is buying into a lifestyle. We're standing right here, literally in the center of the Landmark ecosystem. This site is 1.2 kilometers long, and I'm standing at the 600-meter mark. Now, in 3 years' time, I'll be standing 30 floors up if I'm exactly on the same spot. So what we're about to do here is build our new residential tower, and we call it the Landmark Water View. It's 30 floors, it has 300 apartments, and we're looking forward to seeing probably the best-in-class business, leisure and lifestyle building in Lagos. And we look forward to welcoming that to the ecosystem. It will be a great addition to the ecosystem, and I think that's the last piece of real estate that we're building within this environment, and hopefully it will be complete then. I live and I work and I play within the Landmark community, within what I call the ecosystem. And I think that bringing of the Waterview apartments will give 300 families the opportunity to do exactly the same thing and understand, what it means to be in a bubble and away from the infrastructure challenges, away from the challenges that Nigeria or Lagos has to offer, and be in an environment where everything you want is at your doorstep. You know, that's service-oriented and leisure-oriented at the same time.
I don't think the last time I came here I saw this. So really, what happens here?
Oh, this is new. This came up in December. So it serves three purposes. It's a jetty, so for the water sports, the jet ski, the boats.
Yeah.
There's a bar and a lounge for people to come and hang out, and sometimes they have night parties.
Yeah.
And there's an events place, so it's like a pier as well.
So the very interesting thing about Landmark is for every quarter you come here, there's something new. I was here, I don't know, a couple of months ago. I'm not sure I saw this.
We try to enhance experiences, so we
Yeah.
want to make sure that people see different things and have real experiences. Look, in Landmark, we want to bring as many people here as possible, we want to give them a great experience and want
Yeah.
them to go back and tell other people how nice a time they had.
I've been to some other African countries, South Africa, Namibia, I mean, all around, coastal. I'm going to be in Tanzania in a few days now.
Yeah.
So I noticed like people just go to the beach and
Yeah.
just chill,
Yeah.
they just have fun.
Yes.
But as in Nigeria, like you have to pay to go access the beach.
Yeah, yeah.
Why is that?
Nigeria has a lot of beach, and the government haven't developed any of the beaches. in
Okay, so the
Nigeria.
private individuals develop this beach,
Yeah,
make it
yeah.
very beautiful, and
Yes,
in turn, okay,
yeah. We've probably put 6 billion naira in.
just
Of
developing
infrastructure.
it to look this nice.
Yeah, yeah. And can you imagine the infrastructure you don't see? The water, the power, the sewage, the internet. So, and all that's on the ground, and that's in marine conditions and
Yeah.
marine environments. So, you know, there's a 6 billion naira bill here. You know, it's over $10 million.
Yeah.
And the government hasn't. And this is a beach that's 1 kilometer long. So imagine if you had to do that for the 236 kilometers of Lagos beaches.
Entrepreneurs will definitely change the world.
We get about 20,000 people within this ecosystem every single week.
20,000 people visit the Landmark every week.
We get approximately 20,000 people here every week.
Is that excluding of when you have like massive events? Because I know you have an event center that's quite popular.
Exclusive events.
How much is the ticket in here again?
So the ticket, it ranges from 2,500.
All right,
Yeah.
you can do the math.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what can you say like regarding like the tourism industry in Nigeria? Like what can be changed? What policies can be put together?
For tourism to work,
Yeah.
there are three things that are basic, right?
Okay.
One is security. You have to get people have to feel secure. Two is infrastructure. People have to be able to get to where you are. So the roads have to be good, the beautification, the environment has to be good. And then the third is service. You know, we have to have a service culture. So how does the government help? Tax breaks so people can invest in this infrastructure.
Yeah.
Security, where they deploy security infrastructure to ensure that places are safe and the perception of safety is there, right? And then third is create the hospitality environment so more and more young people can actually get involved in hospitality and begin to provide a service to other people. And if that happens, you know, they're beneficiaries of the service and they're givers of the service.
Yeah.
So one set of people are making money, another set of people are spending money.
Yeah.
And you know, that's what makes the world go around. But we're hoping that more and more people will do this. And that's why after we did this for 5-6 years and I saw more different beaches coming up, I was pleased. I said, you
Yeah.
know, what we need to do here is create a tourism corridor and ensure that we make this the #1 destination in Africa.
So this is the Boulevard. So what's
Yeah.
the idea behind this?
So this is a retail high street. So you know, Lagos is so busy and everywhere is quite noisy. So what we wanted to create was a more serene, more intentional environment for
Yeah.
shops
Yeah.
and for people. And you know, there's a lot of footfall here. There's a lot of traffic here because of our convention center. The idea was to bring different mixes of different shops. So you know, there's a coffee shop, there's an art gallery, there's a bookshop, there's an arcade, there's a furniture place.
KFC.
There's a KFC.
Yeah, office spaces here as well.
The office spaces on the top floor. There's the Hard Rock and Shiro here. There's a South African food chain, the Spur Around
Interesting.
Steakhouse.
Yeah. When the ideation for this whole business came about, like, did you draw reference from any other business in anywhere in the world and sort of like wanted to have the Nigerian or Lagos version?
This is a package, I think, of different infusions of different cultures.
things.
Yeah,
Oh,
different
yeah.
things.
Okay.
That retains the spirit of Nigerian architecture as well. So,
Yeah.
you know, in the theme of mixed use as well, we wanted to keep everything sort of tight and close together.
Yeah.
Try to make sure all the infrastructure is here, try to make sure it's clean and it's a friendly environment, but also a controlled environment. So we back to the streets, put it all together, and we made it a pedestrian area. So,
Right.
So we don't have all the fumes of the cars.
Yeah. Maybe you want to share with us what mistakes you made while you were building this up from scratch, so people really know that you're human as well.
I would say is a mistake everybody makes in business, sir. is you overestimate the amount of money you will make, you overestimate the capital you have, and you underestimate the market forces. Yes.
Yeah.
So I would say that was probably one of the things I had to find my way transitioning from Europe into Africa.
Yeah.
Right. We had to borrow a lot more money than we thought.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Did you at any point be like, are you sure I want to proceed with this idea?
Every day of the week. Every day. Still till today. Every day.
For real?
For 25 years. Every day I've woken up and said, do I really want to do this?
I mean,
right?
at this point, you don't have a choice because how many staff do you have?
Well, there are 2,000 people here.
So 2,000 times 2 because now there are other people, attached to those 2,000.
I know.
So 2,000 people are looking up to you.
But that's what keeps you awake at night,
Yeah.
and basically that's what makes you get up in the morning, right?
Yeah.
So when you think of the mistakes, and every day I question whether it's worth the hassle, because there is a lot of hassle in running a business of this sort of size and this sort of diversity. But you say, look, there are 2,000 people here, and probably more. These 2,000 people probably support another, 10,000 people, right? And you think, these people have to do well, and you've got to make dreams come true.
So my last question is, what do you really define as success?
Success is fulfillment, but I think success is a journey. It's certainly not a destination, right? And success is when you can affect the lives of other people positively, right? So when people walk up to you who don't know you, not when you affect your family's lives or your friends or your staff, people who don't know you at all, but you affect their lives and you're not looking for any gratitude. You're not looking for anybody to be grateful. That's success.
This has been a very interesting video. I myself, I come here to have fun, to chill, to relax, and
I'm glad.
It's a privilege to meet with the visionary of the project. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Let me know what you think about this video, and most importantly, I'm going to put links to the development on there. So if you want to invest in the real estate side of things right here, which I'm going to go check out for myself right now.
Thank you
so
Stephen.
much, sir. He's
My
actually
pleasure.
rushing for a meeting right now. So
My pleasure. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
All right.
All right.